We touched briefly on the show about the liberal commentators who were invited to the White House for an off-the-record briefing. It was Al Sharpton.
Briefing is a schmooze session.
Yeah, right.
It's a spin session.
It's designed to get the numbers back up, right? Shore up his base.
So who was there?
It was Al Sharpton, let's see, Ed Schultz.
Howard Fineman.
Yeah, right. And then Juan Williams from Fox was there, too.
Right. And I always wonder, and this has come up before with President Obama bringing the liberal crowd over, which is what do the commentators get out of it because they're not allowed to go in front of a camera or write down an article
ridiculous.
what he said.
You know what they get out of it, right?
They get stroked.
They're meeting with President Obama, actually with President Obama, and they are given all the rah-rah stories about what's great in the White House, what's great in the White House administration. And
or what's how Obamacare is working better than perhaps the media are portraying it according to the administration.
Right, and they're not finding people who have actually been benefited by it because I think the reason that they're having it now is because the coverage, especially from some of these liberal columnists, has been horrific.
Because they have fairly and honestly grappled with the fact that this has been a disaster. The website's a disaster. Millions of people getting kicked off the insurance rolls, et cetera. I don't know if this is going to turn them around. I do know that some people criticize and say, well, because they go for these off-the-record sessions, some of these folks at MSNBC, this is not their first time, are in the tank for the White House. But other presidents have done this.
Right. But what do you mean in the tank? I mean, people at MSNBC who are opinion makers are spouting talking points every single night.
They are? More so than on other networks?
No, I'm not saying more so on the other networks,
right.
But I'm just saying that you're making a distinction here. And
you're saying the president's playing to his base.
Of course.
And at a time when he's in deep trouble.
Right. And I think that in addition to playing to his base, one of the other things that we brought up was the photographers have launched a formal complaint against the White House for not being able to take pictures at certain events and having the White House photographer taking pictures of events that they don't even know are happening.
Yeah, I find that kind of Orwellian. I mean, it seems to me if the White House wants to declare certain events to be private and doesn't put anything out, all right, then you have an argument about what's private and what's public. Mm-hmm. I always think that any of these presidential events should be recorded for history, for the media, for
posterity,
the public, and for the public. And so, obviously, when you have people on the administration payroll putting out video, it's another way of circumventing the mainstream media. And, if the president, there's not going to be any candid shots of him looking less than stellar, right?
No, but they're bringing in in terms of video, they're bringing in people to interview that then the press finds out about because the White House put out the video.
Right.
So I find it troubling, as do you.
Yeah, I find it troubling, and I just wonder why, I think a lot of people say, well, you journalists, you photographers, you're always whining about access, just cut it. But they don't want to be there because it's so much fun for them. They want to be there to create a record for people like you. And we're back here with more next week on After the Buzz.